So here's 2.5 times b equals 15. It's a multiplication equation as we saw, so we're going to divide to solve. B is going to stay on the left, 15 is going to stay on the right. Why? Because we're going to keep variables on the left and numbers on the right, as we've always done. So I'm just going to get rid of 2.5 by doing the opposite. Right now this says I'm multiplying by 2.5, so I'm dividing by 2.5 to solve. 15 divided by 2.5, they should say 15 here, fix your note-taking guide. 15 divided by 2.5 is 6, which in context of the question means I can put 6 boxes in the shelf space to fill up the entire 15-inch space. Notice there they do a little bit of estimating there to see if our answer kind of makes sense. If we round off the 2.5 to 3, 15 divided by 3 is 5. When we estimate with some simple numbers, since we came up with 6, our answer kind of makes sense. So 6 boxes is then a reasonable answer. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the check it out questions. Now you'll see the answers are there. However, what is not there would be the work. So we'll have to make the work show up here. So if we look at number 1 here, we're asked to solve AA plus 27.51 equals 36. So you know the thing that's in the wrong spot already is 27.51. Variables on the left, numbers on the right, A and 36 are good. 27.51, not so much. So we're going to have to fix that by doing the opposite to move it to the opposite side. Remember, we will do that whenever I want to move something individually to the opposite side. So since it's got addition in front of it, I'm going to subtract 27.51 from both sides. And these cancel each other out. If I add 27.51 to something and subtract it then from the same thing, I get back to what I started with, which in this case is A. And 36 minus 27.51 is 8.49. All right, let's look at number 2. 9 equals 2.5 times D. So you know that right away I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to invert the left and the right side because that variable being on the right is driving me crazy. So that's 2.5 times D equals 9. And now that I've done that, I have a better problem because I have 2 things in the right spot as opposed to just 1. The troublemaker I have is the 2.5. That's a number. It belongs on the right, but it's on the left. So to move it to the opposite side, I'm going to do the opposite. Well, right now it says that I'm multiplying by 2.5, so the opposite is going to be to divide by 2.5, which of course I'm going to do on both sides. This times 2.5 divided by 2.5 cancels each other out and leaves me D. 9 divided by 2.5 is my answer, which as you can see is 3.6. We can check it. 2.5 times 3.6 is 9. Since the other side says 9, the whole thing checks. Remember, that's always the check. Make the left side be the same thing as the right side. If you can't make the left side be the same thing as the right side, it doesn't check. It's not the answer. Okay, here's our story problem. It says a canned good is 4.5 inches tall, and a grocery store has shelving space measuring 18 inches vertically in which to store the cans. How many cans can be stacked in the space? So again, since this is in the section about writing and solving an equation, chances are they want us to write and or solve an equation here. So we've got 4.5 inches for each can. We don't know how many cans that is, so I'm going to call that X. So 4.5 times X, that's how much space I'm going to take up. And I can only fill the maximum space, which is 18. So I'm going to say that can equal 18. And I'm going to go ahead and solve that equation now. Well, we know what to do because we know that the troublemaker here is the 4.5. It's a number, it's on the left, but it's supposed to be on the right. So we're going to divide out 4.5 all the way across. And when I do that, those cancel each other out and leaves me X, which is what I'm solving for because remember, X represents how many cans I can stack in the space. 18 divided by 4.5 is 4, which means I can stack 4 cans in the space.